wanted to introduce you to a good friend of mine and really wanted to introduce you because he has not only helped me, but he has helped several other clients. And a lot of times we get clients asking us, hey, I've thought about buying or renting, getting an investment property. I just don't want to deal with tenants. I don't know how to screen them. I don't want to deal with that. And I will tell you, I went through the exact same thing. I had an opportunity a few months ago to purchase another investment property. And between kids' sports, work, and taking care of my team and my own clients, I did not want to get sidetracked into, all right, where do I even begin on finding a tenant? How do I screen them to make sure that they can pay? What's the minimum credit score? All these things were going through my mind. And I reached out to a good friend of mine, Josh Wells, with Integrity First Properties, to help me walk me through this process. And I really wanted him to come on today to let you know how easy it is to have investment properties that we can help you find. And then I can introduce you to Josh, who can assist you in leasing them. So Josh, tell me, you and I know each other back from the days of doing real estate, and you also have your real estate license. And I know we both have a joint love for soccer, or football, as you would call it back home. But talk to me, why did you start Integrity First Properties?
So for us, first of all, thanks for having me on, appreciate it. So for us, it was a case of our real estate side of things was going really well. And we had a lot of investors and people we knew, similar to you, who had other management companies. And not that we're perfect, but there was a lot of management companies that just wasn't doing a good job, whether the fees were just astronomical or they just weren't taking care of the client. A lot of it was communication. And we were just getting a lot of pushback from some of our clients. They kept asking us, are you going to do this? Are you going to do this? My first kind of diving into real estate was a property manager for an apartment building of 100 units. So I kind of had a background in it. So as the years went on and the more and more complaints we got about some management companies, we thought, well, we're done with that. Let's just do it ourselves and kind of go from there and take care of our clients and other people's clients.
Excellent. Excellent. What, I know I asked you, is it, when I was looking and hiring you, is it just one fee? Is it just one service that you provide? And it really shocked me. And I guess I hadn't looked into it because I've always done my own property management, which is part of the reason why I didn't want to do it again. So I want to focus my life on other things, but I wanted to build up investment properties. So talk to me, what services does your company offer? Is it just the month collecting rent? What do you do?
Yeah, so we kind of run two different services. I would say 95% of the people take us up on option one, which is our full service. They want us to find the tenants, show the property, market the property, screen the tenants, place the tenants, and then just manage it moving forward. So that's one option. The other option, which a few people do, a lot of kind of mum and pop companies that may just have one rental and they're just starting to build their portfolio, they will sometimes hire us to market the property, show tenants, screen tenants, we place the tenant, and then we actually turn around and give you the keys back and say, okay, you guys are the landlord, you're good, you don't owe us any fees, you only pay us for our time to place your tenant. So that's option two. Most people don't go that route because they want the full service, because that's where people get into trouble with legalities and when to do notices, when not to, all that good stuff. But those are how they both run. And with regards to fees, it kind of varies. So anywhere between 7 to 10% a monthly fee. It really depends on the income of the property, where it's located, how many units you have. And then there's some other fees with regards to placing tenants. And again, the VIP clients of yours and of course ours and stuff, we do different deals. But it really depends on your portfolio. And we sit down and kind of talk to you about what that is. But we don't have hidden fees. The proposal that we give you with the monthly percentage and then a maintenance fee and things like that, that is what you get charged. There isn't anything that'll come back later on where it's well, I didn't know about this or this. It's black and white. That's what you pay, and there's no hidden fees.
That's one of the things that I like, even working with you, whether it's real estate or investment property, like we're talking about today, is one of the things that our company at Audra Heller and Associates is we align with faith, family, integrity, and teamwork. And that's one of the things that I really like with you, Josh, and even with your property management company is integrity is everything. And that is very, very critical and crucial. One of the things that I always wonder, okay, I've bought this property, I've spent this money, I went in and I repainted and I had it cleaned and put in a new washer and dryer and new HVAC. How do I know the tenant is going to pay rent? What type of screening do you do, Josh? Like, is it just, hey, here's an application and show me that you're employed? Talk to me, what kind of screening? Do you have software that does that?
Yeah, so that's, I would say, is the biggest part of it. The actual management side of things isn't that difficult. You screen a few phone calls, you get some maintenance requests, you take care of it. The actual work is done on the front end. And I tell everyone, if you're going to do this yourself, screen hard at the beginning. And I tell all our owners this, I would rather your property sit for 2 or 3 weeks and we find the right person than we just take the first applicant that we got in the first 2 days, because you get bombarded with people in the first few days. So we do have a company. One of our companies is called Rent Butter. You have to be a part of them. You pay a fee with them. And that's where the application runs through. I warn people, I love Zillow. We advertise on Zillow. If you manage properties of your own, don't just take the Zillow application for gospel. It's very easy to manipulate that system. We've heard countless problems of people that have used it and said, yeah, we use Zillow, and the tenants are a nightmare. So we do use a company called Rent Butter. What I like about them is we have strict guidelines. So we require a certain credit score. We say, no felonies, no evictions, all these things. And we have a list that we propose. Now, we also say we're just a custodian of your property. We're not the owner. So if someone comes to us and their credit score is 599 and it's not 600, but they make 10,000 a month, we might think they're a good tenant and we've approved them, but we're not going to place them without your approval because they didn't meet all our requirements. If everyone meets our requirements and they tick all the boxes, awesome, everyone's going to be happy. But if there's just one thing that they don't meet the requirement, we're going to reach out to you and say, hey, I recommend we move forward. Here's why. Do you give us the green light? But yeah, we will screen for that. I mean, a minimum credit score of 600. We do recommend 3 times gross the amount of rent. And Rent Butter, actually, I like it verifies that. So it will hook up with the applicant's bank account, and it will actually show what are they depositing. Because on Zillow, you can fluff the numbers, you can fake it. Believe it or not, now I've been doing this a while, there's actually companies you can pay that will give you like fake bank statements. Yeah, it's crazy. And
Wow.
People can provide those. So that's why I like using this system. And then it screens, obviously, background checks, criminal convictions, things like that. But what I also like about it is, our credit score is 600. This system actually shows the history. Zillow is just going to say, this is a credit score today. Our system will show, well, they're at 600 now, but 6 months ago, they were at 780, but they decided to stop paying their house payment and car payment, and now it's starting to drop. We're going to see that on the back end, which you wouldn't see somewhere else. So we don't necessarily want tenants that are going this way. We want them to kind of be stable or going up, of course. So that's what this system does on the back end. And I'm going to knock on wood right now. Every single tenant that we placed last year, we collected 100% of rent, and we haven't had any evictions. I've only ever had 1 eviction in my life, and that was way back when. All of our, we don't have many problem tenants actually, but if we've had issues with tenants that haven't paid and we've had to move them on, that has actually been from tenants that were already in place before we took over. So whether or not it's the screening, but I think that's pretty heavy for the reason we do have some good tenants in place.
Excellent. So will you work with clients who already have a tenant in their property and just don't want to deal with it anymore? If the lease is coming up, then you'll start that new process. But would 100%. You work with somebody? Okay.
Yeah. So we have a lot of those that come to us actually from other management companies that they just wanted to make a change and they already have a tenant in place all day long. That's no problem. We work with the other management company on handing over, keys and documentation and all that stuff. So you don't have to worry about that. But yeah, no, that's totally fine. In an ideal world, it's vacant. We get to screen and place our tenant. But if you have one, then awesome. That's totally fine as well.
Great. Well, you and I both know we're from Kansas City and work in the Kansas City area. Maybe not everyone on the internet knows that. But tell me, what if I'm looking for a property and I want to add to my portfolio in Kansas City, and maybe you break it down, Josh, kind of by Lee Summit area, Overland Park, Northland, whatever. But are there specific things that you would say, man, if you're looking at investment property, you really need to have this, or this area really has a demanded this type of home. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of tied back to like when you sell a home, school districts are important, things like that.
Okay.
But what I found in Kansas City, just in general in the metro area, if you can find a property, especially as a starting out, building a portfolio, and the income is or the rental rate is anywhere between 1,100 to 1,200 a month and say 1,600 a month, that's like gold dust right now. That's kind of the sweet spot in the Kansas City metro. If you can find that in a really good school district, that's even better. But that kind of rental amount, you get really good tenants, the property's usually in really good condition, and there's not too much upkeep there. You can find some good quality tenants. But again, it also comes down to just your numbers and what your plan is. We have some really good investors that we work with, and they're a little bit more lower income housing, but they do great work. They rehab the property, place great tenants, and those tenants have been there for years. So it really comes down to what your strategy is on how you want to do investments. Because then on the other end of it, we have some people on high-end rentals, one in Fairway, one in Kansas City right now, and they're 2,500 to 3,500 a month. So the clientele that we're going to find there, you get a lot of traveling people for work and businesses and things like that. So it's really different. So it really depends what your strategy is, but that kind of average general sweet spot, if you want to find someone quick and find an affordable property, 1,100 to 1,600 a month would be a really good rental rate.
Is it something if we have a client that they're looking at a house and, Park Hill School District, right around 300,000, great property. Is it something that either myself, my team, or our clients can reach out to you and say, okay, Josh, here's the spec of the home that we're looking at. What would this rent for in this area? Is that something that you can assist with as well?
Yep, absolutely. So we have a few different ways to, like we do all of our sell homes, comparables, we do the same on the rentals. So we have a few different systems that we use. So yeah, reach out to Audra, or you can reach out direct if you want, but make sure you mention Audra so I know to get back to you ASAP. Send us the information, the address, how many bedrooms and bathrooms, and kind of an idea on what it looks like inside. Is it updated, not updated, things like that. And I would say within 24, 48 hours, we'll get back to you with what that would look like, a report for you so you can see what comps we used, and then you can make that educated decision.
Perfect.
And there's no fee for that, by the way. You can just send that over and we take care of it. Brilliant.
Brilliant. One question for you, one final thing that I'm thinking of is, as a landlord, what are the best things that you like in a landlord, and what are some things that you're like, man, this is really kind of high maintenance? What are things that are bad? Just so as people are learning and looking into investment property, what advice would you give to be the greatest, best landlord?
Good question. I think it would be not to nickel and dime. And we've had the experience in the past where we have some people on the spectrum of, if there's an issue, we take care of it. They don't even care. They just want us to fix it so the tenant's happy. Then I've had some in the past where, it could be an expensive thing, but they're really trying to shortcut it. And it's like, we recommend don't do that because it's going to come back and bite you later on, but they don't want to. They don't want to listen on that aspect. And again, we're just a custodian. We will do what they tell us on that aspect. But I do recommend, if you're going to go into this, you want to keep the tenant happy. I know it is your property, but they're living there. If you address items quickly, you do it professionally and how you should take care of the issue and don't just band-aid it. I normally find those tenants take more care of the property. They appreciate you as an owner. Quick story, I just had one. We took over management of one in Leavenworth, the duplex. Bad experience in the past with the old company. There was issues, big issues. They had to stay in a hotel for a week or two because of the scenario. We took over management of it, and the owner had never even seen the property. He didn't know about all these issues because it wasn't told to him by the management company. Well, he flew in after everything's been fixed now, and he actually went and met all the tenants. They were texting me, oh my God, he's so nice. He was over the moon happy. So I feel like he didn't shortchange it. He cost him a lot of money to fix these things, but he done it the right way. And now those tenants, they're not going to go anywhere. They're happy there. They like it. They love him. They love that we're taking care of them. So they went from when I first took over, we're leaving, this is a joke, to now they just signed a new lease because they don't want to leave, and he's happy now. So that's why I think just do it the right way, take care of it. You hear slumlords and stuff like that. We do interview our owners because we want to have these conversations. If this does happen, would you take care of it? Because if not, we don't want to get that bad reputation. We don't want to have to tell a tenant, no, we're not doing it, because they're not mad at you, they're mad at us, and they blame us for it, and we don't need that bad rep either.
Excellent. Excellent. What is the, if someone's interested in asking you specific questions or talking to you about managing their investment properties, what's the best way to reach you?
Yeah, a couple of ways. My cell phone direct is 816-500-0120. So you can do it that way. On social media, if you want to send a direct message, you can do that. And then on my email, it's a little bit harder to write down, but Josh Wells, WELLS, at integrityfirstproperties.com. And the first is 1ST. So yeah, just reach out on that aspect. There you go, it's in the comments. Reach out on that aspect, and we can answer any questions. We can meet in person, jump on a Zoom. One of our partners, Corey, I'll be honest, I am not the most tech savvy person. Corey is like very good at that. He kind of keeps us all in order. He actually sets all our tenants up and our clients up for online accounts. So I know we haven't touched on this yet, but we direct deposit our owners every single month once we collected rents, minus obviously our management fees. So you don't have to worry about picking up a check or anything. And same with the tenants. And I think this works well. Our system that we use, they pay direct as well. So they don't have to write a check and mail it. They don't have to Venmo or anything like that. If they want to pay cash, because we have some tenants that they do a lot of cash work, we don't accept cash in person, but through our system, they can go to a 7-Eleven or a Walmart, plug in a code, and then pay cash over to the cashier over the counter, and it direct deposits for them as well. So it's been a lot more convenient. They get an app they can apply if there's any issues with maintenance requests and things. So it's pretty streamlined that way as well. And with the owner portal, you can pull reports 24/7. So you wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning, you think, oh, I want to see what my portfolio is doing. You can pull your profit and loss, who's collected rent that month, who hasn't, and just kind of go from there. So it's pretty nice on that back end for you.
Excellent. Well, Josh, I really appreciate you coming to talk today. Just want to give you a little shout out. I did mention that I did purchase a property back in January, and truly I reached out to Josh just to ask him questions. It had been a long time. I've had a long-term tenant in one of my properties for 12 years. So I hadn't done this in a while. And what I want you to know is I kept thinking, oh, I'm gonna have to pay him a monthly fee. That hits my bottom dollar. Well, end of the day, I was thinking in my brain, it was a cute little 2-bedroom house. I'll get $1,000 for it. I talked to Josh, asked him about the process, asked him about what it would cost to help me find a tenant and the monthly fee. Long story short, again, I was thinking $1,000 a month. Josh was like, I bet I can get it for $1,200. I'm like, all right, you try, but you have my permission to get $1,100 if you can't get it. Guys, he signed a year lease with this tenant, got $1,200 for it. That pays for his fee, and I'm still getting, I think, $1,100. I need to go back and look at my bank account. Haven't looked at it because it's direct deposited and I don't have to worry about it. But Josh paid for himself by the services and everything that he did. And I don't even know who's living in the property. He's like, oh, here's move-in date. He sends me text messages. And again, Josh, I'm right there in line with you of doing the right thing, integrity as a landlord. I installed a new HVAC. The one worked, but it was 23 years old. It didn't have a dishwasher. I decided I would want a dishwasher. So I put in a dishwasher and a clothes washer and dryer because I felt like those were the things I wanted. And if I could get a little bit more rent, then they ultimately will all pay for themselves. So Josh, kudos to you and your company, your staff. I appreciate you taking the time to visit with us. Absolutely. And hopefully we can introduce you to some of our clients and friends that we trust, and we know that you will take amazing care of them. So Josh, thank you for doing what you do and doing the right thing and taking care of people the right way. I appreciate all that you do.
Thanks for having us on. I appreciate you guys.
All right. Take care, Josh. See ya.
See ya.
Bye. Bye.